connection in. Tweets are out. 1 and 2. What up, everybody? We are live. Once again, live for the morning show as we walk through the Tuesday DFS slate. And it's a monster. 14 games. I really hate that 6 o'clock start game. I don't know why they do that, but whatever. I don't love the pitching tonight, but hitting could be interesting. I think this is going to be a situation where I have a lot of really random stuff. Because nothing just jumped out outside of a clear Coors game in the Red Sox. So what are you looking at, Jake? You liking today's slate?
Yeah, I think it's a puzzle, I think. So I like a lot of pitching. I don't love a ton of hitting. There's Coors and stuff, like you said, but outside of that, the hitting's tough. There's just a lot of pretty good or average pitchers and not guys I really want to stack against for the most part. So it'll be fun to try to figure it out.
I'm with you. Waiting for the first straggler to pop in chat. And then we'll get started. YouTube saying not connected yet.
Really?
Oh, it's super live connected on here. Yeah.
Yeah.
10 watching. There we go. It's weird. Apparently people have more stuff to do on a Tuesday when they don't have a national holiday to worry about.
Must be.
What's going on, everybody? Alrighty. We're good. I can close this. I don't know why you're still spinning and saying connecting, but I don't really care either. We got people. Alrighty. You ready to dive in?
Yeah.
So for those that are just getting here, slowly trickling in, we're just going to go through these games like we normally do. If you have any questions on a specific game that we're on, feel free to pop them in the chat. We'll do a bit of an overview at the end of pitchers that we're looking at. So just come along for the ride. First game up, Astros and Yankees. Feels like yesterday. Astros 4.6 run implied total. Yankees 4.4. It's a 52% chance to win for the Astros. Charlie Morton going for Houston. CC Sabathia going for New York. Morton with quite the price tag on DK, 12-1. I don't get the sense that I'll be happy to have that, but I will be paying up quite a bit for him. It looks like I've got 15% of him to start. I don't like it all that much. I assume he'll be relatively low owned. I'm definitely not touching Sabathia, although I'm sure Chris is going to want to get him on the live stream, so good luck with that.
Oh, God.
Geez, love Sabathia.
Why?
I don't know. But the last 2 times he's pitched, he's one of the roster, and it was just like, don't do that. What do you think about Morton tonight? Is it too hard to get to that price point?
I think it's going to be tough for me. Just because I like Snell and Maeda a lot, and they're significantly cheaper on DraftKings. So I get it. It's a pay up to be contrarian spot. Morton is an awesome pitcher. There's no getting around it. He can strike out 10 here. I think he just struck out 10 against the Yankees a couple starts ago. So would not be shocked if he did it again. The weather is not great for pitching. It's sort of neutral, 73 degrees. I don't know. I mean, I'm worried about some of the righties. Morton gives up a lot more hard hits to righties, and he strikes out a ton more lefties. So, whoa.
I can hear that. What is that? Is that your
I don't know.
House isn't on fire, is it?
All right. I don't know what that was.
Oh, it sounded like static or like something grindy.
Yeah. I think that was my Fangraphs page.
Fangraphs.
Literally, like an ad.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
It sounded like technology failing.
No, that was definitely my Fangraphs page, I think, because I closed it and it stopped. So, anyways.
Morton's ownership tonight. It's got to be relatively low. I can't imagine people are like, oh, I really want to get the most expensive expensive pitcher by $1,300 in over like some of these more valuable guys down the line against the Yankees tonight. Like I assume it's going to be crazy low.
Yeah, I mean, if it is really low, he's someone that I think you should have more exposure to. Yeah, once again, I don't know what's going on with my FanGraphs. So he's someone that I want exposure to. I don't know if you should always pay down for pitching, but like Eric says in chat, but I think that it makes sense when you've got a guy that's going to be low owned and highly priced against a team that's pretty scary. He just dominated them a few starts ago, so I have no issue with it.
Yeah, I think I'll get there I'm hoping that I can end up being like slightly overweight for him, but I don't have a good feel for where his ownership's going to end up. But he's definitely a guy that could lead the day in scoring, so I'm interested a little bit.
Yeah. I'll have a couple teams with him. Like if I have 20 teams, I'll probably have 2 to 4, but nothing crazy with Morton.
Yeah. Astros hitters, I do like quite a bit. I got them at, let's see, they are my 6th most owned stack on FanDuel, and they are 5th on DK right now. Top 5 in particular, so Springer, Bregman, Altuve, Correa, Gurriel. You talked some smack on JD Davis yesterday. I think he went yard.
He did, yeah. Well, that's against righties. He can hit lefties really well.
Sure.
But he wasn't expecting him to do it against a righty. But yeah, he had a 3-run homer off Domingo Germán, but Germán was fine outside of that. But yeah, so serves me right.
You like the top, the Astros bats?
Oh, yeah.
Plus
yeah.
Gaddis, I guess.
Yep, so that's exactly what I have pretty much. But I have the top 6 and then Gaddis.
Okay.
So I like Davis, Gurriel. These guys are all super cheap. Bregman, Correa for $4,400 against the lefty in Yankee Stadium was pretty cheap. I don't even mind Stassi in the 8-hole. If you cannot get up that extra $100 to Gaddis, Stassi crushes lefties. So, I mean, Houston's been hitting lefties really well as a team over the last month or so. A 135 WRC plus is 2nd in that span. They're not striking out, 16.9% K rate against lefties in that span. So Houston looks like they're getting back to where they were last year, where like lefties were just unplayable against them.
Yeah.
And well, pitching in general was really unplayable against them last year. They were insane.
They just happen to be incredibly good.
Yeah, and they should be once again this year. Just gotten off to a slow start, but over the last 30 days have been a lot better against lefties.
Yeah, I mean, not so slow anymore. 2nd best record in in the AL. Looks like tied for 2nd in all of baseball. Wow. They're rolling now.
Yeah, like we expected.
Yeah, exactly.
They should. Yeah.
I don't get to too much JD Davis on DK because of roster construction. Like, he's only $300 cheaper than Bregman, so you got to be making a very specific decision to take Davis over Bregman, which is fine in a GPP because more people will have Bregman. That could give you a more unique looking stack on DK if you left Bregman out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're fine. They're going to be a team that I have some exposure to. I wouldn't expect them to be too popular. But all of those righty bats against the lefty Sabathia is kind of interesting.
Yeah, and I rarely target lefty bats against Sabathia. So I'm kind of pumped to play all these righties, just 8 straight righties. Some of these guys should get to him. He does give up much more hard contact to righties, strikes them out at a lower rate. Like, these guys should do some damage, I think, here.
No interest in the Yankees for me. I don't think Morton's ownership is going to be high enough for like the anti-Morton stack to be worth it. And I just can't imagine paying that freight against, a really good pitcher.
Yep, me either. I agree.
Same page. Love it. Morning Greek. Who is the cheapest pitcher on FanDuel that you would consider? I'll tackle that sort of question as we get to those guys when we when we get through it all. Just don't want you waiting on it right now. Cubs and Pirates. Cubs 4.2 run implied total. Pirates 4.0. 52% chance to win for the Cubs. John Lester going for Chicago. Nick Kingham going for Pittsburgh. I got quite a bit of Lester on DK. Surprise, surprise. You're going to say I don't like Lester because I don't like John Lester. This one's easy for us. I'll get a bunch of Lester at 8,100.
So I actually wouldn't hate Lester if it's going to be a bunch of lefties in there, like if it was Polanco and Meadows and Dickerson and those guys and Moran. But
turns out 8 righties.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to stack the righties against him. So that's going to be enough to get me off of Lester. Not someone I really want to play in general, but I don't really want to target against him with these Pittsburgh lefties or righties. Cervelli makes some sense at catcher, but really that's it for the Pittsburgh bats. And then same thing for Chicago on the other side. Nick Kingham, he seems like a pretty good pitcher. The run total's pretty low. I could see using Chris Bryant or Wilson Contreras just because Kingham's given up some power to righties, but it's a short sample, so I can't make a ton of it. Just want good hitters against Kingham, and that's about it.
I hear you. I have 18% Lester here on my first crunch. It would shock me if I ended up with that much because I don't expect his ownership to be that high. So I'll pull him down pretty naturally. And then from a hitting perspective, I don't have much on either side. A couple scattered lines of Cubs, but that's it. This game's not really on the board for me.
Me either. I think it's sort of an avoid game all around, so hope it stays quiet.
Same. Nats and Orioles. Nats 4.4 run implied total. Orioles 4.6. It's a 51% chance to win for the O's. Jeremy Hellickson going for Washington. Dylan Bundy going for Baltimore. I didn't get either of these guys on either site. Do you have interest in Bundy? I'm trying to guess.
Yeah, Bundy's just been like insane. So he had that one start, the very notable start against the Royals where I was on him. And before we even got off the live stream, me and Chris, he gave up like 2 home runs. So that was fun. Like just a disaster start. One of the worst starts that we've seen.
Well, the problem is he had 3 straight starts like that.
What?
7 earned, then 5 earned, then 7 earned. That third one that I said is the one where he didn't get an out. But the 2 starts before that were atrocious as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he had him, but he was like still making guys miss and stuff. And
now he's looking better.
He looks awesome the last 3 starts.
Yeah.
Like just insane swing and miss stuff. He's so shut down against right-handed bats that if the Nationals throw out a righty-heavy lineup like what we're seeing right now with 6 righties, then I think you can consider Bundy. Like Harper is going to scare you, Matt Adams is going to scare you, Soto to an extent. These guys are all really good hitters from the left side, so I'm not expecting Bundy to throw a shutout, but he could rack up a bunch of strikeouts once again, so I don't mind him. Did you hear that again?
No.
Okay, good. That was just in my ears then. Nice. My Fangraphs page keeps going nuts.
Yeah,
trying to
install uBlock or something.
I thought I had it.
Well, then I don't know what to tell you.
It says it's blocked. Insecure content blocked. All right.
Come on, Fangraphs, get your shit together.
I know. They keep wanting me to donate to them too. So.
Yeah. I used to.
I probably should.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with Bundy. He just doesn't grade out for me. I don't totally trust him. He's obviously missing bats like crazy. 11 K per 9 so far this season. To have an ERA, like I know we don't normally talk about it, but to have an ERA of 4.5, knowing that he had 3 of those disaster starts is kind of amazing.
Yeah.
387 xFIP looks really good. I should probably have more of him. I should certainly have more than 0. I'm anxious to see what his ownership looks like. It's possible that if I start pulling off, like, some of Lester's ownership or some other guys that probably have a little bit more than I need, I'm hoping that a little bit goes to Bundy, but I would expect to be heavily underweight on him. So I'm kind of hoping that he sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're going to get crushed if you fade him.
Could, man, if he puts up another one of those 14K one walk starts like he did in his last one.
Yeah, I don't expect him to throw a complete game here like he did. I think he threw a complete game his last start. He had like 45 DraftKings points.
He did indeed.
Like he has
2 hits.
Yeah, he has that kind of upside in a lot of starts, but I don't really think this is one of them. It's good hitting weather, good hitting park, but the strikeouts could be there if they stack 5 or 6 righties against him.
Yeah, I'm with you. Nats bats, though, on DK in particular, looking really nice for me. As usual, quite a bit of Trey Turner. Love Harper, love Rendon, and then Matt Adams and Juan Soto both popping up quite a bit. I'll actually get to way more Nats than I would have ever expected. How much do I have on DK? Yeah, they're my 4th most owned stack on DraftKings right now.
It's really just Harper and Soto for me. Lefty power against Bundy is where he gets in trouble.
No
so,
Matt Adams?
Oh, yeah, Matt Adams too. Yeah. So I mentioned
wow,
the first time.
He doesn't even have like a bad salary, dual eligibility. I was like, there's no way you don't like Matt Adams.
No. Yeah, Matt Adams is fine. So 2, 4, 6, really, for me. I'm not stacking against Bundy. Just too much respect for what he's done over his last few starts.
I'm starting to hope that his ownership is a little bit higher. I'll feel pretty good about a Nat stack. If I'm going to be on the opposite side of it, I'd rather go full bore. So,
Sure.
Not too much of it on FanDuel. Pricing's really high. Harper's the same price on both sites. That's not advantageous to FanDuel. Turner only $200 cheaper. That's not good. Rendon only $100 cheaper. Matt Adams is $300 more expensive. Nat's pricing is backwards. If they flip that on both sites, I'd like these guys a lot more.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm not on the Nats that much, but do you like Orioles bats at all? Did we talk about that?
Just a little bit of them. I have nobody more than 4%, so a couple lines, and that's mostly just because Hellickson's terrible.
I think Hellickson's been kind of like average, which I was surprised to see that he's striking out a fair amount of righties, and there are a bunch of righties in this Baltimore lineup, as we know. Maybe Manny Machado. I have to mention him pretty much every time we do a show,
Sure.
But that's really about it. So I'm not super crazy about this game.
I would agree. I didn't realize Hellickson's he's got a 3.14 xFIP. He's been really good so far this year.
Yeah.
Limiting the home run, I think, is pretty essential for him.
Yeah.
I want to see if he's normally had homer issues. He has. Okay, so yeah, for his career, his home runs per 9 is 1.28. This season, just 0.71. Only time he's ever been under 1. Last year, for example, 1.92. So if he can keep limiting the long ball, that's what he needs to do. But that's a tough proposition sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
Alrighty, let's move on. Angels and Tigers. Angels, 4.8 run implied total. Tigers, 4.1. It's a 56% chance to win for the Angels. Nick Tropiano going for the Angels. Michael Fulmer going for Detroit. Another game where I didn't get either of these pitchers. It's just not going to be for me. And I usually like Tropiano, but not today.
Yeah, I think they're just kind of whatever plays for me with a 9 total. I don't expect either of them to be striking out a bunch of guys. Neither the Tigers nor the Angels are really striking out a lot, the Angels especially. And the Angels don't chase, and that's Fulmer's big thing. He's got a 36% O-swing percentage on the season. And then the Angels are near the bottom in the MLB in O-swing percentage as far as hitting goes. So just not a great matchup for Fulmer. It's a good price for him, but I don't think I can do it, especially with a couple minimum salary guys that I'm interested in. So I'll be off Fulmer. Tropiano's a decent value, but Detroit just not striking out as much as I would like to see, and I'm worried about Tropiano's quality of contact that he gives up. So I'll be off of both of these guys, I think.
Okay, I'm with you. Touching on the chat quick, Giancarlo, yes, I built this spreadsheet by myself. Steel City DFS, any thoughts on Porcello? We haven't gotten to the Red Sox yet. They're next. Angels bats, I get a little bit of them on DK, and that's the extent of what I have here. So they're my... Oop, I sorted that incorrectly. I should number these so I don't have to like look at it every time. 8. They are my 8th most owned stack on DK. It's basically the first 5 guys. Cozart, Trout, Upton, Pujols, Ohtani. 4.8 run implied total. Like, there's nothing crazy today. There's only 3 games above 5, so I like having a little bit of Angels here. I'm not the biggest Michael Fulmer fan in the world, so I think that's why I'm getting there, but ultimately this game is not highly owned for me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really love stacking against Fulmer. He's pretty good at limiting hard hits and stuff. So it would be Trout and Ohtani for me, but probably not stacking up the Angels just because Pujols in the middle there. Upton doesn't hit righties as well. Same with Cozart. So I'll probably pass on the Angels stack, but Trout and Ohtani for sure will be targeted as one-offs.
Did I have Pujols yesterday and did he dong?
No, did he hit a home run? I think he hit a RBI double.
I did have Pujols though, right?
You did? Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah, he's 1 for 4. Okay. Every time I look at this, I go to the FanGraphs box scores where it shows like win probability and stuff. Every guy that I pick is always at like the ass end of the win probability list. It's like, oh, he went 0 for 4 and K'd twice with runners in scoring position. It's like, cool, I picked him. I picked the worst guy of the team. All right, I think we can move on this game because I've got something to talk about here. Blue Jays and Red Sox. Blue Jays 4.1 run implied total. Red Sox 5.5. It's a 63% chance to win for the Red Sox. Marco Estrada going for the Blue Jays. Rick Porcello going for Boston. I get a little bit of Porcello. I would have expected to get more here because of the matchup and the run total, but I got 11% Porcello on DraftKings, only 3% on FanDuel. I'll have him. I won't be like super pumped about it, but Red Sox bats are my number 1 stack on both sites right now. Ignoring, like, even including cores, I get more Boston than anything else. So I guess give me some thoughts on Porcello if you have them, and then let me know if I'm crazy about loving the Red Sox so much.
No, Porcello's fine. I always say it, but he's a better real life pitcher than DFS pitcher, I think. Probably a little bit above average strikeout stuff. So against a Blue Jays lineup that is really, really struggling, they've kind of fallen off. I don't mind targeting Porcello. The problem is his price. He's just priced around a couple of guys that I like, that I've mentioned once or twice already, Snell and Maeda. So He'll probably be lower owned than both of them. Maybe not Snell, but definitely Maeda. So I wouldn't hate Porcello as a pivot. I just don't think I'll get to enough lineups where I'll need to use him. Don't want to target bets against him. Like I said, he's just a pretty good pitcher. And then Estrada's just been brutal. 542 xFIP, 387 WOBA, 15.2% K rate against righties this year. Like, he should get crushed against the Red Sox. If Betts is in the lineup, that's even better. I prefer the righties, so Bogarts, JD, Mookie, but no problem with Benintendi, Moreland, Devers, Pedroia. Like, Red Sox definitely in the top 3 stacks for me.
Yeah, I can't get enough of them. 1 through 7 on both sites, no brainer. I don't get a ton of Sandy Leon on FanDuel, obviously. Not really needing a powerless catcher on FanDuel. But I do get a bunch of Jackie Bradley instead on FanDuel. I don't get much Jackie Bradley on DK. I get more Sandy Leon. So I can't get enough Red Sox here. 5.5 run implied total, second highest on the slate, only behind Colorado. I assume they're going to be hella popular. But I can't get away from it. Not with that run total on this slate. Everything else is sort of blended together, but Red Sox bats look about as good as they can be. And they've just been mashing righties so much. It's hard to avoid them. Unless they're going to be bringing in some sort of high-level righty, which obviously Marco Estrada is not that person.
No.
it's hard to not think that the Red Sox just come in and smash. 18% K rate against righties. League average is 23. Like, they're not striking out. They're just mashing them over and over and over again. So I want to be on that side of the coin today.
Yeah, Boston's just, like, over the last month, under 20% K rate against right-handed pitching. They're in the top 6 in WRC+. Their ISO is in the top 3. I think it might be number 1, actually. Yeah, it's number 1. 217 ISO over the last month against right-handed pitching. They're just insane. Like, I'm going to fire up a bunch of Red Sox stacks. So that's where I'll be at. Yeah.
Look too good. Alrighty, Mets and Braves. Mets 3.9 run implied total. Braves 4.6. Now that I'm typing this in, I should make sure that this line hasn't changed or anything. Gambling site did not have pitching listed. Okay, so it is listed as Sanchez, and he is listed as the favorite on 5 dimes right now, so we'll roll with it. 4.6 run implied total for the Braves. Don't know if I said that. 57% chance to win for the Braves. It's Steven Matz going for New York and Anibal Sanchez going for Atlanta. I got a ton of Sanchez. I don't know if I'm just crazy or what. I even shaved his innings down a bit. I like the price point, especially 5,100 on DK. I think he'll be an option for me as an SP2 on DraftKings. I might have a couple lines of him on FanDuel. He's not a guy that I would expect to get to a lot. He is popping up in 15% of my lineups to start. That'll get nerfed because he won't have anywhere near that ownership, or at least I wouldn't expect him to. So I'll probably have him in like the 6 or 7% range on FanDuel. Did you look at him at all?
No, I mean, not really. I know he's missed bats pretty well in the majors. He had a real Anibal Sanchez start in the minors, I know, when I was looking at just like some game log stuff, where he gave up 8 earned in 3 2/3. He's going to have some of those if he continues to start in the majors.
Yeah.
I don't know if this will be one, but I do like the Mets' top 4. So just the 4 lefties: Nimmo, Cabrera, Conforto, and Bruce. Okay. I think that's a pretty decently priced stack. Just all below 4K, like 4 lefties in a row. He could get in some trouble there. I don't know if Nimmo can steal, but I'm pretty sure that Sanchez is really bad against stolen bases. Like he cannot hold runners, if I remember correctly. But I'll check on that.
Okay.
And then my boy Steven Matz on the other side. You know how I feel about him. So.
Yeah, I got no Mets whatsoever. One lineup of Mats on DK. I don't really have any Braves hitting either. It's honestly just like a bit of Anibal Sanchez. The rest of this game doesn't exist.
Yeah, I like the Braves stack as well. So is there a run total out for this game yet? Or did you make that?
I think I made it up.
Okay. I mean, regardless, I like Ender Enciarte leading off, lefty. If he gets on base, Matz is one of the worst guys at holding runners, and I just checked, and Sanchez is too. So some possibility for some stolen bases here. Albie, same thing. Freddie Freeman can steal as well, and then obviously these guys can all hit. Tyler Flowers is one of my favorite catchers on the slate. Just been crushing everything. So Braves stack is one of my favorites on the night. They're in the top 5 for sure. I'll have a bunch of Braves, and I hope they're going to be low owned.
Wow, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, they have mashed lefties, so... Yeah, I probably won't have any Braves outside of maybe like 5 lines, so... I kind of hope you're right, because I want them to win. But yeah, I think it'll just be mostly Sanchez for me.
Yeah, so I like bats on both sides, so we're on opposite ends here, which is fine.
Yeah. I feel like I should probably like the Braves more. They're expensive, man.
So Steven Matz, I think he's just fraudulent as far as his strikeout stuff goes. Like he had like 5% swinging strike rate in his last start, and again got no swings out of the zone. Like didn't get any chases, and he threw 6 innings and struck out 3 and had no earned runs. You just cannot keep that up. You got to miss bats in today's MLB if you're gonna consistently pitch well, and he just doesn't do it. So the Braves I have as one of the best matchups, or they're one of the best teams against lefty pitching this year. No Acuna makes me sad, but I think I will be able to stack up some Braves regardless.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just mostly price for me. Inciarte 4,100. That's a lot. Albies and Freeman both over 5,000. That's a lot. Markakis 4,200. I think they're all just slightly overpriced for me, and that's why I'm not getting there.
That's fair. I'll take all the Braves exposure.
There you go. Cardinals and Brewers. Cardinals 4.5 run implied total. Brewers 4.5 run implied total. It's a coin flip, people. Michael Wacha going for St. Louis. Zach Davies going for Milwaukee. I like Wacha a little bit on DK. He'll be a guy that's in the mix for me. And then for the Cardinals, they are my 7th most owned stack on DK and 7 on FanDuel. So a little bit of the Cardinals. There's somebody that I'm slightly on. Ownership is scattered on both sites. I don't know. It's kind of an uneventful game. I don't trust it.
Yeah, I think that I'm actually more on the Brewers bats than the Cardinals. Okay. Wacha's had some good results lately, but he's giving up a ton of hard contact on the season, over 41%. And then the Brewers are just really, really dangerous when they're healthy. So Yelich and Shaw scare me for Wacha's sake. Aguilar, we've talked about him a little bit, he's just been hitting everything really, really hard. Braun can hit. Obviously, you prefer him against righties, or lefties, but I think I'd still use him for under 4K on DraftKings, dual position eligibility. And then Lorenzo Cain leading off. So the top 5 Brewers will be a low-ish owned stack that I'm interested in. I'm not really looking at the pitching. And then Davies just gets a lot of ground balls, so I'm worried about that for the Cardinals. I think they might become popular as the day goes on, so I'll probably be off the Cardinals for the most part.
Okay. Yeah, it's not like I got anybody in a crazy amount. Carpenter, Martinez, Pham, Ozuna looks to be the most popular chunk of it all on DK. But I got a little bit of Jed Jerko and Colton Wong on FanDuel, so I don't know. I'll have flyer stacks of them. If they pop off, great. If they don't, it's probably not going to sink me. I don't know. It's a uneventful Cardinals Brewers game to me. I don't have any Brewers bats.
Yeah, I like the Brewers bats. So
I like Yelich.
Once again, Yelich and Shaw mostly, but yeah. I could get to a little 4-man stack or maybe 5.
On a night like tonight, I would expect. I think Yelich would work as a really nice one-off option. I don't expect him to have any sort of real ownership. So he would be a guy that I would want to cycle in an outfield spot.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. Twins and Royals.
My Twins.
Yeah. The Minnesota Jakes. 4.6 run implied total for the Twins. 4.1 for the Royals. It's a 55% chance to win for the Twins. Kyle Gibson going for Minnesota. Danny Duffy going for Kansas City. I got a couple lines of Duffy on DK, mostly because of his price point of 4,000, worth a little bit of a flyer. I don't get any Kyle Gibson. You're going to tell me you like Kyle Gibson. But I do really like the Twins hitters, if that helps.
No, I don't like Gibson, actually. So
really?
Yeah, he should be having good performances, but I don't know. He's just not throwing his best pitches as often as he should be in the counts that he should be. And the Royals are a terrible strikeout matchup. So I'll pass on Gibson today.
I feel like you don't like Gibson because he beat you in a card game on the team flight or something.
No. We're good friends, me and Kyle, but not using him today. I like Moustakas against him. And then Duffy for 4,000 against the Twins. Like, I don't mind him here. I think he might become chalky as the day goes on. He can be pretty good in above average matchups, and this is one of those. The Twins aren't quite as free swinging as the Rangers are, and that's where Duffy dominated. He went like 7 2/3, 5 strikeouts. But Sano back in the lineup and Buxton, like there are some strikeouts here for sure. So I like Duffy for 4,000, just too cheap for a guy that is not on a pitch count and going up against a team that struggles against lefties.
Yeah, like I said, I'll get to a little bit of Duffy. The Twins are like my 6th most owned stack on both sites, though. I get a ton of Dozier, which is become sort of par for the course. He'll be East chalky almost every day now. Just combination of price and position. But I get a lot of Sano here. 3,300 on FanDuel, 3,900 on DK, dual eligibility. Okay, Drew Winters saying Sano is out. Are we sure about that?
He returned yesterday, or a few days ago, sorry.
Did he?
He homered yesterday.
Okay. He didn't get hurt on like his home run trot, did he?
I just searched him, and I don't see anything about him being hurt. So
yeah, we're gonna say Sano is in then, particularly against the lefty, because if you're gonna ever play Sano, that's the spot. Yeah, he should be fine. Yeah, so I'm getting him a ton, especially with the dual eligibility on DK. I'm anxious to see his ownership. I hope he's not that owned because he's probably like my Diddy Dong pick today. I just absolutely love him there. Mitch Garver, not a guy that I'm normally excited about, but he'd be part of a stack on DK. I don't know. The Twins make it really easy to like fit things in. 2 guys with dual eligibility across like some interesting positions. Dozier at second base is always easy to fill that spot. So they go well with other teams that have like a lot of outfield talent.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And especially if Duffy's going to get a bunch of ownership, which I think he may, just because of that price, then you can go with the stack against him. Like I said on the night shift last night, that if I end up with like 5 shares of Duffy, I'll have a couple twin stacks on the other side, because this is not a spot where I think Duffy's just going to mow through these guys or like be any sort of safe option. The run total says it all. Like 4.8 runs on the road for the Twins is pretty healthy against the lefty. So it would be Dozier, and then Kepler and Rosario can both hit lefties really well. And then Sano. So it'd probably be the top 4 Twins for me if I'm stacking against Duffy.
That works for me. One thing to touch on in the chat, Jacob Watson. Has anyone noticed a cash game line change as they go up from $2 to $5 in double ups? Does it get harder to win? Yes, it gets harder to win as you go up in stakes. If it didn't, no one would play the low stakes.
Yeah, and in GPPs, it's like the top scores are usually lower, but the cash line is higher.
Yeah.
So there's more good lineups in the high dollar GPPs, but the winning score is, since there's a lot less lineups, the winning score is usually lower than what you'll see in like the $8 where people have every combination of every stack.
Yeah, it's hard to pay attention to just the cut line because you have to take into account how many lines are in that actual tournament. The more entries that can be in a tournament, the more difficult it's going to be because there's just more options to push that higher. It's not necessarily it's not totally just a skill thing, but at the higher levels, yes, skill is going to get you a little bit further.
Yes.
That's probably enough for Twins and Royals. Let's move on to the game that most people will care about, and we won't have anything interesting to say. Giants and Rockies. Giants, 5.3 run implied total. Rockies, 5.9. It's a 56% chance to win for the Rockies. Jeff Samardzija going for San Francisco. Kyle Freeland going for Colorado. This is not a game where you want pitchers, people. This is a Coors Field game with a gigantic total. They're both going to be popular. They're my number 2 and number 3 stacks in some order on both sites. I'll have them both. I don't really have much else to say outside of like it's just a Coors Field game. The Giants' prices are super low, especially against a lefty. They lean pretty heavily to the right, so I prefer the Giants on paper, but they're both going to have a ton of ownership.
Yeah, like I'm kind of mad at DK for pricing the Giants so low because I actually want to target against Freeland with 2, 3, and 4. McCutcheon, Posey, and Longoria all hitting lefties or their hard hit percentage against lefties is over 40% for each of them. They don't really strike out that much. Freeland's not a guy that is going to miss a ton of bats, but righty power can certainly get to him if he elevates the ball, especially in Coors. And it's just 3 really good hitters against lefties. So I like those 3, but they'll be popular because of their pricing.
Yeah.
And then the Rockies against Samardzija. Samardzija's been pretty brutal this year. He's got a 6.07 xFIP. And now you get to go into Coors. He's done an okay job at limiting hard contact, which is encouraging. Maybe he can escape here without getting blown up, but I'm not going to bank on it. I'll have a bunch of Rocky stacks as well. Just too good of a spot against a pitcher that's really struggling.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't have anything that's going to be revolutionary
Yeah,
for this
neither.
game. It's just the total is a monster. So, I mean, people are going to be on it. I agree with it. I'll have exposure to it. That's all I can really say. I'll have every single guy in this game. It doesn't even matter how the lineups come out. Like, it's just, I'm going to have everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are still trying to confirm the Sano stuff. As of right now, he's playing, but ultimately, it doesn't matter. We'll find out by 6 o'clock tonight, I promise.
Yeah.
Reds and Diamondbacks. Reds, 4.1 run implied total. Diamondbacks, 4.3. It's a 53% chance to win for the Diamondbacks. This is like a battle of the Jakes outside of Minnesota. Luis Castillo going for Cincinnati. Zach Godley going for Arizona. You just gonna take them both, I guess? Would that be the easiest way for you to be here? I don't want you to speak ill of 2 guys that I know that you like.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have interest in both. I think Castillo more than Godley.
Agreed.
Castillo is 8,000 on DraftKings. That's a really good price. He's got the 4th highest whiffs per swing percentage in the month of May. So he's just had a string of really solid starts. Like, it hasn't been anything crazy, I think, outside of one game. But just getting strikeouts, going deep enough into games where he's paying off his salary. And he's just got crazy, crazy strikeout stuff when he's on. So you've got like Socrates, Brito, Kettle Marte, Dyson, Avila. You get the pitcher spot with Castillo. If he can navigate Goldschmidt, Lamb, Peralta at the top, he should. I mean, I think he could have double-digit strikeouts in this game. I don't think that's very far-fetched at all. So Castillo will probably be my highest-owned pitcher. And then the Diamondbacks over the last month, we talked about this yesterday, but over the last month, they have by far the lowest WRC plus against righties. 27% K percentage, 39 WRC plus, and 100 is average there. So that just goes to show you how bad they've really been. ISO under 100. I mean, just all kinds of bad. So
yeah.
Despite that huge performance yesterday, where they had like 11 runs. So Castillo, I just love.
Yeah, so I've got quite a bit of Castillo on DK. You'll be surprised to hear that I'm going to have a lot of the Diamondbacks on FanDuel. So I'm going to be all over this game in weird ways. It's a price thing. Everybody's super duper cheap on the Diamondbacks, and that makes other stuff work. Hitting is so volatile that, sometimes you just need to have guys that are just cheaper. Yeah. So I'll be on the Diamondbacks train, as I usually am. I might as well just get myself a damn Diamondbacks jersey at this point. But Peralta, Goldschmidt, Lamb, Descalso, Marte, Dyson, these are guys that I'm going to have tonight. They won't be owned, at least not all that much. But they're a great way to make other stuff happen. They're a really easy way to be able to pay up for pitching on FanDuel or pay up to get a bigger stack. So I figure I'll have a lot of Diamondback stacks with Red Sox, Giants, and Rockies, along with Maeda, Snell, I don't know, somebody else up there. But I don't really get them anywhere else other than FanDuel. So thanks for the pricing, FanDuel, where you have 4 guys at 2,100 or lower.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, and Castillo is not immune to getting blown up. Like a 4.2 run total is not awful for these prices. So Descalso, like the top 4 hitters, I think are pretty decent for Arizona if you wanted to go that route and stack against what I think should be the chalk in Castillo. We've seen him get blown up a couple times already this year. Not lately, but like that doesn't mean that he just may not have it tonight. It's baseball. Crazy stuff happens. Godley is so he's 8,600. He's someone that I feel like I make excuses for all the time. Like I just feel like I am just the Godley apologist. He's just like eyeballing his lineups or his matchups. It looks like he's had some pretty bad ones against the Nationals. He's faced LA 4 times, so I'm kind of throwing those out the window. 4 times.
4 times?
Yeah, 4 times out of his first 8 starts. He faced the Dodgers. And I mean, he faced them probably 4 or 5 times last year too. So I'm not really all that worried about Godley. If he can get ahead of hitters here for the Reds, and that's a big if, he could have a really dominant performance. If he doesn't, he's gonna get rocked. That's sort of how it's been. He's gonna walk guys, especially like Votto, who's super patient. I'm going to have a little bit of Godley, but he's not an all-in play like he probably would have been a month or 2 ago. Or a month ago.
Yeah, I didn't really get too much of him. 5% on FanDuel, 3% on DK. I'll probably be below the field on him. I don't know. He's just there. Everything is just there for me in this game. Except for Castillo on DK and Diamondbacks hitters, which, is going to go really poorly for me when I have 20% of both sides of a game.
Yeah.
Don't really know what to cheer for there. Rays and A's, unless you have any more there on your boy Godley.
No. Enough Godley talk. I don't want to be responsible for people playing Godley because I'll talk myself into him or something.
4.2 run implied total for the Rays, 3.8 for the A's. It's a 54% chance to win for the Rays. Blake Snell going for Tampa. Daniel Gossett going for Oakland. Snell's that dude today. I like Snell more than any other pitcher on both sites. He'll be my most owned pitcher on FanDuel for sure at 8,700. And 10.6, not really the price tag that I love on DK, but all things considered, I'll end up with him really close to my ownership caps. Just a big-time fan of Blake Snell tonight.
Yeah, Snell is just I think he's my favorite play, and it's not even that close. My favorite pay up. So I love Castillo. Him and Snell will be my highest owned combination on DraftKings. He just got filthy stuff. And then Oakland over the last month has a 27% K rate against lefties, 245 on base percentage, 124 ISO. That's all against left-handed pitching. So they're striking out a ton. And then Snell he's just an awesome pitcher. If you watch him pitch, he just makes everyone miss and shows in his swinging strike rate. He's in the top 20 or maybe 21 in whiffs per swing on the season. So nothing bad to say about Snell. I hope that price gets people off of him, but I really think he is got the best chance at leading the slate in raw points.
Okay. I agree with you. He'll have a really decent shot. I think he might be too owned for that, though. I think that when Alex writes his lineup card, if he does a lineup card for today, that Snell will be too highly owned for his odds.
I see.
That's my guess. Braves and Mets line officially out at 9 with some action on the under. I had it in at 8.5. I bumped it to 9 while we were talking. It's probably like 8.75. So everything we said before was in and around that same area. Makes it good. Let me make sure that the side didn't change. Nope, still Anibal Sanchez, slight favorite. So good to know there. I get like a microscopic amount of Rays bats, but otherwise the rest of this game I don't care about.
I'm not really on either side because I'm not playing bats against Snell, and then Gossett is just whatever for me. the Rays, I rarely end up on the Rays. So I don't even have a hitter to really recommend on Tampa. This game is all about Snell for me, and that's about it.
Brad Miller, if he's leading off, I think makes for a nice one-off of someone that's probably not going to have any ownership, but should.
Yeah.
Marlins and Padres, this one is a bore. 3.2 run implied total for the Marlins, 3.8 for the Padres. It's a 58% chance for the Padres. Dan Straley going for Miami. Tyson Ross going for San Diego. I like both pitchers here quite a bit, as a 3.8 and 3.2 run implied total will get you. This will be all pitching for me. A little bit of Padres on FanDuel because they're super cheap, but ultimately I'm going to have a lot of Ross and Straley. I like Ross at this price point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the price point for Ross just because I can't get over Tyson Ross being 9,200 and me actually considering playing him. I think he's too closely. I'd probably take a chance on Bundy before I go with Tyson Ross, but he has been good. He has the stuff that I look for. He gets the chases. He gets the swings and misses. I'm not really sure where this is coming from, but the stolen bases against him, like if he walks a couple of guys, that's always going to be a concern for me. So that may be enough to keep him off, plus the increased price tag. I don't know. I'll probably pass on Ross, but I certainly get it. I don't think he's a bad play.
Let's see. Whoa. Our rankings came out while we were doing this, so I want to see how we have Ross ranked. Not good. So I'll have to reevaluate slightly there. We also don't have good ratings on Kenta Maeda or Porcello.
Interesting.
Looks like the gem of FanDuel for... looks like the top guys are going to be Godley.
Yeah, I get that.
Straley. Felix Hernandez.
Yeah, we still haven't talked about him.
Blake Snell looks really good on FanDuel, not as great on DK. Interesting rankings. But yeah, so I have 17% Straley on FanDuel, 20% on DK, so I'm kind of excited about that. If the boss thinks Straley looks pretty good today, then I'm going to go ahead and keep pounding out some Dan Straley.
Yeah. Straley, I think I'd rather just go all the way down to Duffy or go with Felix Hernandez at home, who always pitches better at home. I mean, we'll talk about him in a second, but I just don't think I'll get to Straley. I think he has been one of the luckiest pitchers in the MLB as far as exit velocity and stuff compared to his actual results. I don't know if that'll keep up, but I don't want to go with pitchers that I think have a lot of regression coming. So no Straley for me, probably off this game entirely.
Okay. 2 games left. Phillies and Dodgers. Phillies 3.5 run implied total. Dodgers 4.5. It's a 61% chance to win for the Dodgers. Jake Arrieta going for Philly. Kenta Maeda going for the Dodgers. Another day where I don't get all that much Arrieta, just a couple lines on DK, but I'm getting a ton of Maeda on DK. 10,800, second most expensive pitcher, but I think it's a really nice spot. Low implied total from the Phillies. They haven't been anything super special against righties. They strike out a lot. So I think Maeda looks like he could have one of the bigger days on the slate. Let's see what I have him projected for Ks-wise. Probably 7, if I had to guess. 6.7.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I love Maeda today.
I do too. I mean, there's not much I could say bad about him. He's striking out righties at over 30%, striking out lefties almost 30%, which he did not do last year. So I don't know if he's made some improvements or what's going on, but a lot of strikeouts in this Phillies lineup. Santana and Odubel Herrera are a little concerning, but 3 run total for the Phillies, lowest on the night, right? So
yeah,
it's an obvious play. It's going to have ownership, but there's nothing wrong with it. Maeda is one of my top 3 favorite pitchers. He'll be on the spotlight pitchers for sure.
interesting because of like we're both on Maeda heavily here. He got really bad grades on DraftKings for us,
Hmm. I don't
including
know.
the worst grade you can get as a value play.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't see why he would be a bad value. It's not like he's 12K or something. Like,
Yeah, I'm surprised by it too. I hate seeing
that's
stuff like that when I have someone so obviously, but
yeah.
Maeda's grade is really bad for us. To the point where like I'm honestly confused by it.
Maybe Alex missed something or missed a line or entered something in wrong. I don't know because that seems like the type of pitcher he would love.
Yeah, I agree.
Huge,
And
huge favorite, low
I
run
get
total.
him too, so like that's even more confusing to me.
Mhm.
This one seems obvious, so I'd like to pay
Yeah,
attention to that through the day.
yeah. Do you like any LA bats against Arrieta?
I have 2 lines of out of the 150 of Dodgers, so not especially. No.
Yeah, I mean Turner, Grandal, and Bellinger is all I really have interest in. Grandal especially 3600, just smashing righties, and then Arrieta's just been really inconsistent as far as swing and miss stuff goes. So if he doesn't have it, these guys can make him pay. Even though I don't love the Dodgers as a full stack.
Gotcha. Last game, I guess.
Yeah,
Wasn't too bad. Hold on. Computer's slowing up. Alright, there we go. Rangers and Mariners. Rangers 3.1 run implied total, lowest in the slate. Mariners 4.0. It's a 61% chance to win for Seattle. Austin Bibbins-Dirks going for Texas. Felix Hernandez going for Seattle. I like Felix quite a bit here. I get a smattering of him on FanDuel and on DK. Just a really nice price point for him. He's still like a functionally okay pitcher. Let's see what we have him ranked at. He's got very good ratings or rankings from our premium side as of right now. So, yeah, give me some Felix. I don't really like anything else here.
yeah. I mean he's nothing special, but this matchup is awesome. The Rangers, one of my favorite teams to target. Just so many swings and misses. Like they go up there, they just waste at bats. They're trying to hit home runs every time. Odor and Gallo, especially. Chirinos, sort of the same thing.
Yeah.
So Felix at home, that's where I like to target him. 6,900, good price for him. Like he'll be someone that I'm not going to target heavily, but I'll for sure have some exposure. Nothing bad to say about him either. So I don't really want to target bats against him. What about Bibbins-Dirk?
I got 0.
Did you? So I would have 0 too, like 0 interest at all. If there wasn't another pitcher on the slate that was the same price, that's going to be probably 5 times the ownership of him. So Bibbins-Dirks had a 15.6% swinging strike rate, almost 40% chase rate against the Royals in his last start, which they're one of the teams that doesn't chase. And so that was really weird to me. Like his whisker swing, he's only got 109 pitches qualified, but he'd be in the top 10 in the MLB for the season. A third of his, he's got 33.3% whisker swing percentage. So if Duffy's starting to get really chalky, I'll probably move some shares over to Bibbins-Dirks.
Okay.
Just take a chance that he's got good swing and miss stuff. I mean, I don't love it, but just for the ownership and the exact same price, and he's going to be way less owned.
Yeah, I have a pretty big gap between the two. So I'd be more likely to pivot to, like, in my case, Anibal Sanchez. I know that he's significantly more expensive, but I don't think that I'll get to any Bibbins-Dirks.
Yeah, he's like a. I mean, I'm not saying he's some great play, but just for ownership reasons, if Duffy is like, I'm going to be looking at Duffy's ownership on our projections. So if you haven't signed up for premium, do that and you can see them, because I think they're pretty accurate for the most part. So if Bibbins-Dirk's going to be 2% and Duffy's going to be 20, then I'll move some shares over to Bibbins-Dirk's.
I would agree with that statement. That's everything, people. Let's take a look at some DK crunches. One question in the chat that I think you'll want to take, and I think we have the same answer. You can only pick one, Maeda or Snell.
Maeda or Snell? Snell.
Okay, I agree.
Yeah.
Depending on ownership, obviously. If Snell has twice as much ownership or something like that as Maeda, then I'd probably go Maeda.
Oh, I think Snell is awesome tonight. So it would be Snell unless Snell's gonna be like 75% owned or something, like, which he's not. He's just they're gonna be similar in ownership, I think. So I don't think you'll have to worry about that too much.
All right, so you want me to look, I assume, at Snell Castillo?
Yeah, I think that's gonna be my most popular pairing. So you can try that.
At some point in time, I need Fantasy Cruncher to stop sucking. It's just such a resource hog. I don't even want to see this when I click on it. It's not even showing. That's how. Oh, there it is. Yeah, God, that's brutal. That's so brutal. All right, there we go. So we've got Castillo and Snell. Only 2 lines of that in my first 150. Giants and Nats or Giants and Red Sox. So
Giants, Nats, Giants, Red Sox. I mean, I like the Giants part of it. Not necessarily Crawford and Humley, but that's not as.
I'm gonna single them both out and run 20 lines quick.
I'm sure you could get like the Braves guys or like the Mets guys with another top tier stack.
Nats and Twins.
So you could go against the Duffy chalk if he's going to be chalk, and then get some Nats bets in there. I don't mind that.
There's Mets and Rockies for you.
Nice. Oh yeah, I like that. Red Sox, Cardinals.
Orioles, Astros. That one would be pretty unique.
Yeah.
Springer, Correa, Altuve, Gaddis, Davis, Alvarez, Adam Jones, Trey Mancini. I mean, that one's got a high ceiling for sure if you're going to have Chris Davis and Pedro Alvarez. Like, that's a lineup that you could look at and be like, oh, yeah, that'll win a GPP or put up 45.
Yeah. Alvarez and Chris Davis. 7 strikeouts between them.
Yeah, that would be rough. Rockies and Red Sox, I would entertain that. I think that's probably the best one I've seen so far. Yeah,
so you can do a lot.
I mean, I feel like we say that all the time, but it's sort of because that's true.
Yeah.
I like it. Now, for all the psychopaths that are going to yell at me about not looking at FanDuel, we'll look at FanDuel quickly. I love you guys. I mean psychopaths in like the most nice, inclusive way. Because, I mean, granted, well, Jake and I are both psychopaths for doing this sort of stuff at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Not many other people doing that at this time, which may be a good thing, maybe a bad thing. I guess you guys can decide that.
Okay. All right, I'm going to look at Dan Straley. I feel like he's a guy that I'll be heavier than the field on. I just really like that price point as like a let's hope this goes well type thing. And if I wanted to do that, I can get to a lot of fun stuff. Twins and Astros. I get to my Diamondbacks with all of the key hitters. And that's why the Diamondbacks become so popular for me on DK or on FanDuel. Because if I can go the Diamondbacks with the best parts of the Diamondbacks, Dyson, Goldschmidt, Descalso, Lamb, that top 4, and then I can grab the best of the Astros bats against Sabathia, or the top end of the Rockies stack, or Betts, Benintendi, Jackie Bradley, and Bogarts. Like, you can... The Diamondbacks become the Swiss Army knife of getting everything in there. You don't need all of the Diamondbacks, but the first 4 guys in that lineup are guys that you would want kind of in general. And they're priced at basically nothing. So that's how I get to that sort of ownership.
That's fair.
Any other questions in the chat? I know there's not a ton of you out there, but we wanted to try out another live stream. So if you have any final questions, get them in now. Otherwise, we are going to get out of here.
Yeah. Do you have the Stacks article out and the hitters article?
I have all of the Red Sox done and just about all of the Giants. I just have to write the Rockies section. So it'll be up before this is like live.
Who are your two top starting pitchers on DK? For me, it's Snell and Castillo. We just ran through them. What about you, Josh?
I mean, if we're talking about like two guys that I could get together, then it's probably Snell and Castillo. I would say that Snell and Maeda are my two like favorite starters on DK, but you're not going to spend 2,100 or 21.4 on both of those guys together and be able to do anything. So
yeah,
I would say those two guys are like my pretty clear-cut best guys. On FanDuel, top pitcher is Snell for me, and that's
Snell.
It's not even remotely close. If we're looking for like best value as a pitcher on FanDuel, for me it's either Straley or
what's Felix?
Yeah, probably Felix would be my other one. They're both. Felix is 6,300, Straley 7,000. I think both of those guys would be guys that I would want to take a look at.
Yeah, it would be a ton of Snell, Castillo, and Godley for me on FanDuel if I was playing over there.
I do like Tyson Ross quite a bit, but he not getting the same sort of grading as I would like.
Mm-hmm.
Evolve says, how heavily do you rely on splits? I'd say like simultaneously pretty heavy and also not that heavy at all. I know that's really weird. I have a column here that calculates a guy's platoon split, and that's regressed out based on the amount of plate appearances they've had against righties and lefties. So normally it's a pretty tight range, but I don't necessarily avoid anyone in any matchups. It's more about ownership for me, so I'm fine. Like, what would be a good example? Who do the Yankees play? Astros. So, now this is a fucking terrible example. They're just running out a ton of righties. I was looking for like a lefty-lefty matchup. I won't disregard some...
Go to Duffy against the Twins.
Yeah, that's a good one. Nope, typed that in the wrong spot. Yeah, so like someone like Kepler and Rosario. Kepler gets an 8% reduction to his WOBA for the lefty-lefty. Rosario 7%. That's based on their production in their career and then regress to the mean. So that's in there, and I'm taking a deeper look at it. It's definitely discounting their performance, but it doesn't make me not want to be on a guy, particularly in part of a stack where I'm not necessarily playing an individual for the individual. I'm playing it for the correlation to the rest of his teammates. So, like, Kepler's probably not a guy that I would have as a one-off, but these lefty-lefty matchups in particular generally drive down ownership a little bit. So I really don't ever mind having it.
Yeah, especially in the context of a stack. So.
Yeah. That's probably it.
Someone asked for top stack. So I'll just I like the Astros, Red Sox, Braves, and then like obviously Coors Field, and then the Brewers are probably one of my sneakier ones. So.
Okay. Red Sox, Giants, and Diamondbacks are my top three stacks on FanDuel. Red Sox, Rockies, and Giants are my top three stacks on DK. Yeah. And I write that every day, so you could read that free of charge, awesemo.com. If you want to pay some scratch, you can check out our rankings and our ownership projections. Hockey was crazy last night, right?
Yeah, it was a fun game. So a lot more fun than the basketball game. I was flipping back and forth, and trying to do the night shift at the same time. But
Yeah.
hockey, that's going to be a super, super fun series. So Vegas won the first game, if you guys didn't see that.
Yeah, I didn't know who won. Was it like 5-4 or
6-4.
Okay.
6-4 empty netter, yeah.
Okay. I was going to say, I thought I saw 5-4 late. So no hockey coverage today, no NBA. We're going to be off for a couple days in terms of that stuff. So it's get in here for the baseball coverage, people. That's all we got right now. And then some WNBA projections as well. So that's all I've got. You got anything you want to add?
No, good luck. Tune in for the live stream at 6 Eastern.
There you go. Best of luck, everybody, and we will talk to you again in the morning.